Hi there, my dear students of class 6 from E6A and E6B. I think you all are doing great, aren't you? So today we are going to start Bangladesh and Global Studies with chapter number 10. It was in your first terminal syllabus, but to begin with second term syllabus, I have to make sure that you have a clear idea about this chapter. Okay, so let's get started. The title is Rights of Children in Bangladesh. So from the title, the very first thing that comes to our mind is what is right, or what is right of children. But before I answer to these questions, I want to ask you, who are children? What do you think? As you are from class 6, do you consider yourself as a child? Or do you think that you are only a boy who can think of himself better than anyone? And what about your idea that only the boys or the little girls from nursery to class 5 or class 4 are the children? Well, look at these pictures. On the right side we can see 2 boys and 3 little girls. They are smiling, and on the left side there is another picture of smiling faces. And as you can see, this flag is of Bangladesh, so definitely they are from Bangladesh. They are Bangladeshi children. Now I am pretty sure that you will consider these boys and girls, all these boys and girls, as children. What about this picture? Is it familiar to you? Yeah, definitely. So this is the most favorite place of yours, and I can guarantee you are missing this place or this campus already, as this is your loving St. Gregory's High School campus, isn't it? Now, as you can see, this is a photo from the assembly, and you all know that in the assembly there are boys from class 5 to class 10. My question is, if you think or if you consider yourself as a child or the boys from class 5 as children, what about the boys from class 9 and 10? Do you consider them as children too? Or they are just elder brother or older boys? What do you think? Okay, let it be a suspense. Okay, let's get the answer by reading the next slide, which is the concept of children. Well, the very first topic that is from the concept of children is childhood. What is childhood? Childhood means a particular age limit. The idea of childhood differs from society to society. It means, suppose a boy who is 15 years or 16 years old. In our society, we do not consider him a child. But in other society, he might be considered as a child. Okay? So that means the idea of childhood differs from society to society. Now, what is child? Our main question was that. What is child? According to the United Nations Charter of Children's Rights, any person below 18 years of age is a child. I repeat, any person below 18 years of age is a child. Now, I hope you have got your answer that the boys from class 9 and 10 are also children according to the United Nations Charter of Children's Rights. So you can say the boys from class 5 are also children and the boys from class 10 are also children. But mind it, that is, it differs from society to society, and we are talking about United Nations Charter. Okay? Now the next topic is the concept of right. What is right? Rights are such privileges which are necessary for the development of an individual and which are acknowledged by the state. I repeat, Rights are such privileges which are necessary for the development of an individual and which are acknowledged by the state. Privilege means advantage or benefit, which are necessary for the development of an individual. An individual means a person, that can be a boy or a girl, and development, that means his or her growth, which are acknowledged by the state. This is very important, that privileges or those privileges should be acknowledged by the state. For example, we are talking about right. The basic rights are food, clothes, accommodation, education, etc. etc. Now, if you say that your right as a child is to play games like PUBG all day long, so will it be acknowledged by the state? What do you think? Obviously not. So that is not your right, and the right or the privileges what we are talking about, that should be acknowledged by the state. All right? Now, rights of the children. What is rights of the children? The privileges provided by the state to establish dignity of the children and to develop human qualities fully are called rights of children. Again, the privileges provided by the state. Privileges means the advantages and the benefits provided by the state to establish dignity. Why? To establish dignity of the children and to develop human qualities fully are called rights of the children. We can ensure the rights of children by providing them with food, cloth, accommodation, education, healthcare, legal, civic and social services and security. These are actually basic rights of any man or any human being, that can be a boy, a girl or any adult. Okay? So these are the rights of the children. Okay, think about this picture. Here we can see there are two pictures. My question is, aren't they common scenarios in our society or in our country? What do you think? On the right side, we can see a girl is carrying bricks and another boy is helping her. On the left side, a little boy is breaking bricks. Yes, these are very common scenarios in our society as well as in our country. Now, the next pictures. They are also doing child work. Okay? So, these pictures are not from our country only. These are also from our neighbor country, India. Okay? That means child labor is not just a common scenario in Bangladesh, rather it is a common scenario in most of the countries from South Asia. Alright? Which concludes, rights of children are being hampered. Now, as we have already known about rights of children, now the question is, what are the basic objectives of the rights of children? That means why the rights of children is important and what is its purpose? The answer is, every child of the society will grow up without any discrimination. They will live a healthy and happy life. Their talent will be developed. All these are the basic objectives of the rights of children. Besides these, to speak freely, to move freely and to express opinion freely play helping roles in the development of children. Now, as we are talking about discrimination, we have to know what is discrimination. Suppose you are from a well-off family. That means you are from a well-established family. You don't need to think about your 3 times food. You don't need to think about where should you pass your night. But think about the boys or the girls who are street children. They don't know whether they will get 1 meal a day, and their life is terrible. They don't get their basic rights, that is food, cloth, accommodation, education, healthcare. So this is called discrimination. As he or she is from a poor family, he doesn't have the right to get proper education? No. Every child, every boy, every girl, they have their rights to get the basic needs, the basic rights. That is why the United Nations has established or has published a charter, which we will be dealing with on the next slide. Okay? Well, now we are gonna read about rights of children recognized by United Nations. The United Nations has declared certain rights for the children like the elders. These rights have been mentioned in the Charter of Children's Rights approved in the General Assembly of the United Nations on 20th of November 1989. I repeat, 20th of November 1989. There are 54 sections. Remember it. There are 54 sections in the Charter of Children's Rights. Now, if you are struggling with this word charter, don't get confused. Charter means what we call usually chart, okay? The rules and regulations or a description about something. So this charter is about rights of children. Now, as we already know, there are 54 sections, but in your textbook, it is not written the whole 54 sections, rather the marked one or the special ones which must be known to you or you must learn it carefully. Okay? So we are gonna read it. The first one is anyone below the age of 18 will be considered a child, but some countries follow their own law and maintain age limit below 18. Well, I have discussed it already, and by this time you have learned that any boy or any girl under the age of 18 will be considered a child. Okay? So moving on to the next section, that is all children have equal rights. The rights cannot be differentiated in respect of gender, rich and poor, nationality, religion, physical ability, and so on. In the earlier part, I discussed about discrimination. So here, this is a good example of what is discrimination. It is said that all children have equal rights. The rights cannot be differentiated in respect of gender. I mean, if you are a boy and there is a girl, there is no discrimination or there is no point that a boy will be much privileged than the girl. A boy and a girl has the equal right. In terms of rich and poor, a boy from upper class and a boy from lower class have the same right to enjoy. Okay? And in terms of nationality, a boy from Bangladesh, a boy from India, and a boy from Europe have the same right to enjoy, which means all children are equal and there will not be any discrimination regarding their nationality. It doesn't matter whether a child is from Bangladesh or USA or Australia or any part of the world. And in terms of religion, it goes the same. That means a boy from Islam or Hinduism will have the same privileges that the society will provide or the country or the state will provide. Okay? Now moving on to the next section, it is written, parents and children should be conscious of the rights of children and advise and guide them accordingly. That means it is the duty of the parents and the responsibility of the parents that they should advise and guide their children. They should advise them what is their right, what is good for them, what they should do, what they shouldn't, everything. Alright? And this is not the only duty of the parents. The children, they should be conscious of the rights of children too. I mean, if the children, that means you yourself, if you don't know about your right, then how can you get your right properly? So this is the duty and the responsibility of the children too, that they should be conscious of the rights of children, and parents should help them getting aware of their rights. Okay? Then children have the right to use their own identity along with their own and parents' name. To be honest, child identity is an umbrella term. That means it is a huge term. You can Google it for more information, but now I want to describe it in brief. So, child identity, it is a psychological thing, first of all, and at the same time, it is very complex. The child identity begins when children start questioning in their minds who are they, who is their family, and where do they belong. So these type of questions make them search for their identity. Now, as it is written here that they can have their own identity along with their parents' name. Suppose your father is a doctor, but you want to be a scientist. So that is completely okay. This is your right. Another example can be, imagine your father is a football fan of Argentina, but you like Brazil football team much. So there is no problem. You can create your own identity. And your elder brother is a fan of English Premier League football, and you are a hardcore fan of Spanish football, that means La Liga. So there is no problem at all regarding creating your own identity. Okay? If your father is a doctor, there is no problem that you want to be a cricketer. If your father is a policeman, there is no problem you want to be a IT specialist. Alright? Now, the next one. The state holds the responsibility to protect the rights of children to live and grow up. This is very easy. The rights of children should be protected by the state. It is the duty of the state. Now, the next one. It is the responsibility of the state to ensure children's freedom of expression, development of their conscience and intelligence, and freedom of religion under the guidance of their parents. Again, the responsibility of the state is to ensure freedom of expression, like your beliefs, thoughts, ideas, and emotions about different issues. But one thing is very important, those issues must be free from government censorship. You cannot question government censorship ideas to argue with. Okay? Now, it means, suppose we are having a debate about which team is better, or is Shakib Al Hasan is the greatest all-rounder of all time, or your favorite debate, that is who is better, Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. So you can express your ideas. So that is your freedom of expression. Alright? We can also say freedom of speech. Anyway, moving on to the next section, that is the government is responsible for protecting children from unjust scolding and beating. It is very clear nowadays that a student or any boy or girl who are children should not be scolded or beaten by anyone. It can be your parents, it can be your teachers, it can be your friends, anyone. So the government is responsible for protecting children from unjust scolding and beating. But this is also important to remember that the scolding and beating which are unjust, those are prohibited. Okay? But suppose you have done a wrong, your parents can obviously scold you for that, or to some extent they can beat you, but I won't appreciate that. Anyway, so moving on to the next part. The state has to ensure that children get food, clothing, accommodation, education and healthcare in due time. As you can see, these are the basic rights of any human being. So these should be provided by the state to the children. Now the next one. Rights of children of small ethnic minority groups should be protected regarding the practice of their indigenous culture, religion and language. Every child has the right to enjoy leisure, games and sports, cultural and creative activities. Well, you know, ethnic minority groups are Chakma, Garo, Manipuri, and so on. So these are called indigenous people, and they have the full right to enjoy their culture. Believe me, I have seen people talking against them that they use their language when they speak. Suppose two boys from ethnic minority, they can be Chakma or from any minority group, they got admitted in your class, and you will often see they use their language to express their feelings among them, okay? But I don't know why we see it differently. When they communicate each other, they can use their own language, and we don't have any right to say that you should use Bangla all the time when you are in school. So this is actually against their right. And every child has the right to enjoy leisure, games and sports, cultural and creative activities. Like if you are very capable of playing cricket, basketball, football, you have all the right in the world to do that, okay? If you want to make something like creative stuffs, you can do it. If you want to sing, if you want to dance, you have the right. Actually, this is why we are learning the rights of children. You should know what is your right. Like if your parents are not willing to give you the time to make creative stuffs, then you should tell them that this is your right. You have the full right to enjoy your leisure, by making creative stuffs, by playing cricket, football or anything. Alright? Then, children's right to abstain from economic exploitation and harmful child labor should be protected. Next, no one should engage children in any illegal work. The state should take measures so that children do not suffer physically, mentally and morally. Alright? Then, children cannot be allowed to take part in war or armed struggle. This is necessary to remember that in any part of the world, children can be used in wars or armed struggle, but this is prohibited by the United Nations, that they cannot be allowed to take part in war or armed struggle. The last one, children's sense of honor and secrecy should be protected. I want to explain it because this is important. You often say to your teacher that, "Sir, do you know what he has done in the tiffin period?" Then you say something which is not necessary for the teacher or for other students too, that they should know about that, of that boy, okay? So this is actually sense of honor or sense of secrecy. If that boy has not done anything bad or anything illegal, then you should not talk about those things to your teacher or to any of your friends or any of your classmates. That is why children's sense of honor and secrecy should be protected. It should be obeyed and respected by all of you, all of the children and all of the parents and all of the people also, okay? Well boys, I want to stop here today. Thank you for your attention, and please study more and more, as you have much time to concentrate on your studies and on your cultural and other activities and skills. So make the best use of your time. All right?